Hello, critical thinkers. Hope all is well. I'm Fred. My apologies for starting late. I'm already struggle streaming already. Uh, these things happen, and you end up having technical issues. So my apologies for starting off late. Thank you for everyone who is on now. The first thing I want to do is just go over some comments. Uh, we have Curtis Thompson saying Anthony Frankenstein Farina. And actually, Anthony Farina is someone who we will be talking about today. I'm going to attempt to actually show him in court today. So, Curtis, thank you for coming. And thank you for watching and being a part of the show. Appreciate that immensely. We have Sam Pointer from Jamestown, New York. Welcome, 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 Sam. Hope all is well with you and your family. We have Judy Patterson from Rome, New York. Judy Patterson from Rome, New York. Thank you so much for being here. Sam Pointer, no sound. I think that was before. For every if everyone can hear me, can you do me a favor? Do a thumbs up and in the chat or write sound okay so that I know all is good. I was having some technical issues prior, but I believe everything is resolved now. So if there are some sound issues, just let me know. We got James from Wisconsin. James, thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Appreciate that immensely. James Lanthier, I think they are all going to get off scot-free. Oh, well, the thing is, I truly hope that they do not get off scot-free. It, you know, okay, so some things happened today in court that seem to be promising. I was going to talk about this later, James, but there was talk about a federal case that is currently occurring. The Robert Brooks murder is being investigated by the feds. I believe it's the Western District of New York who's currently investigating, and I will be playing that clip addressing that. We have Frederick Dunlap from Pennsylvania. Frederick, welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't meet too many Fredericks, so Frederick, thank you for being here. We got Brenda Moore from Utica, New York. Brenda from Utica, welcome, welcome. We got Curtis Thompson saying Kabuki Theater, the judge, district attorney, and everything with a badge has long been aware of the slave beatings and state-sanctioned lynchings taking place in those all-white police facilities. Yeah, so the abuse has been going on for so long. I have articles and stories from the 1980s, 1990s, of those incarcerated being, brutally beaten and nothing occurring and charges rarely being filed. James Lanthier, Tupper Lake, New York. Tupper Lake, New York. Thank you for being here again. King Tut, thumbs up. Thank you. I guess you're referring to the audio. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. Thank you. I am with you, Yana. Thumbs up. Thank you for being here. And thank you for commenting on the videos. Really appreciate that. Donna Robinson with a wave. Hello, Donna. Thank you for being here. We got Judy Patterson with a thumbs up. Thank you. We have Bridget. Bridget saying, hello, Critical Conversations. I'm glad to hear from you tonight. May God bless you. And I'm glad you are all right from yesterday's storms. Okay. I'm in Southwest Florida, so we didn't have any storms here yesterday, but I do appreciate the sentiment. Hopefully you aren't forecasting something for me down the road. Bally makes you think, thumbs up. Appreciate that greatly. BJ Webbs, I'm disgusted with the non-justice system. I agree with you 1,000%. For me, this all stems from the amount of time it took to actually get these individuals indicted, which was over 2.5 months. We know that if it was you or I, we would have been locked up and thrown underneath the jail the next day. So these correction officers got the white glove treatment from DA Fitzpatrick. So I'm very disgusted with that, as I'm sure all of you are as well. We got BJ Webb saying Northern New York here. Thank you, BJ, again. BJ Webbs. I am with you, Yana. You're welcome, and I appreciate you and your channel so much. Thank you. Um, Listen, you guys are the reason why I'm here to continue, doing these stories and talking about these cases. For those of you who don't know, I absolutely hate bullies. I hate injustice, and evil will thrive if no one says anything. If we just continue to hold this closely and we hold these injustices and we don't discuss it and take action, this is going to continue to occur. And it has to be stopped. Well, Bally makes you think saying OSI is complicit. Bally makes you think OSI is completely toothless and powerless. They are a group of individuals who are disenfranchised themselves, and they really have no power. They investigate, but there are no consequences for when they find officers, have engaged in misconduct and brutality. These officers keep their jobs, and because of the arbitration system, DOC's attempts to terminate correction officers, 9 out of 10 of them keep their jobs and are not fired. And in some cases, DOC's has to pay them back pay to add insult to injury. Sam Pointer, period, though. Thank you, Sam. TD, I am 30 minutes from that facility. Valley makes you think the commissioner is supporting and protecting these criminals. Uh, the Department of Corrections has been broken for a long, long time. Daniel Marchicello and his dynasty, his family members employed with docs. I don't see anything major happening. Um, I, I don't see any real attempts at reform. So I'm going to be honest with you. We have King Tut. King Tut says, I believe they're not focused on justice, just damage control and resolving this case as quietly as possible. I agree with you 1,000%. Agree with you 1,000%. So, for those of you who just came on, we are going to be going over the Robert Brooks court appearances today. Today, we had 10 individuals, 10 correction officers who made their appearance today in court. We have 5 correction officers whose primary charge were second-degree murder, and then you have 4 who were charged with manslaughter, and some were charged with gang assault, gang violence. Also, you have a 10th correction officer, Officer Gentile. His name did not come up until the indictments came in. He has a tampering with evidence charge. So we have 10 correction officers who have been indicted. Today was the follow-up court date. And so I'm going to be going over a couple of articles with you, and then I'm going to show Anthony Farina's, in court today. I'll play that clip for you. Hopefully, the technology will work well with me, and I'll be able to play that clip today. We have Bridget Swanger. I hope the judge throws the book at them, correctional officers, and never lets them out. Well, we will see what happens. There's what occurred today was we found out that plea deals were offered to all 10 defendants. At the moment, we don't know the extent of what those plea deals are, but I'm not going to give away everything. I'm going to go into these articles and read them with you. And if you don't mind, I'll take a swig of my Coke Zero real quick. Okay. So first things first is everyone can do me a favor. Thankfully, now we have 53 people in the chat. Again, I thank each and every one of you for coming on, for keeping this story alive. If you can do me a quick favor and please hit that like button, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you have the opportunity to, copy this link and share it with someone who you feel needs to be here listening to this news. So to all 53 people who are on right now, I greatly thank you. I appreciate you. And if you have a quick second, please tickle that like button. Greatly appreciated. Let's jump to a couple more comments before we go to the news. Luke's wife says, I thought the grand jury was still reviewing evidence on a few more defendants. That's what was said when these people were indicted. Luke's wife, you are absolutely correct. The grand jury is still available to review evidence on further defendants. So that is still pending from my knowledge. The grand jury can still convene and hear evidence. We may have more indictments, we may not. What we do know is that we should be hearing sometime in the near future plea deals that will be coming to court for those plea deals to be heard. And those individuals, we don't know who they are yet. They will be testifying, they will be offering up testimony. So Luke's wife, that's a great comment. Thank you for bringing that up. Greatly appreciated. We have Richard Seller says, I'm disgusted with this news and embarrassed to be a New Yorker. The DA and the judge lobbed them a softball, and the lawyers are saying still not good enough. Lion Falls, New York. But Richard, thank you for the comment. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you for being on. Bally Makes You Think says thank you. Thank you. So I definitely want to move this along. I want to go into the first article. So let me pull that up for your viewing pleasure now. Give me a quick second as I pull up the article. Okay. Okay, let me share this. And here we go. Okay. This is from the Daily Sentinel. Uh, the title is Prosecutor. Federal charge is possible in Marcy prison inmate death. In all 10, in all 10 court appearances today, you heard William Fitzpatrick. For those of you who don't know, he's the Onondaga County district attorney, and he's the special prosecutor who was assigned to the Robert Brooks murder investigation by Letitia James. Okay, so he spoke about the federal prosecutors, him not being able to speak on their behalf. So that came up in every single appearance today. He had to make that known to every single defendant and their attorney. This article is by Sean Mills, by the way. I immensely appreciate these authors and these journalists who are covering these stories. So every opportunity I get, I like to acknowledge the author of these articles because unless these articles were written, I would not have a channel. Okay, let's jump into it. Marcy, all 10 correctional officers charged in the beating death of state prison inmate Robert L. Brooks made brief appearances in Oneida County Court Monday morning, and each was offered some form of plea deal from the special prosecutor. So again, each and every defendant was offered a plea deal sometime within the last 2 weeks. The details of the plea deals were not released in court. Each case was adjourned until later this month to accept or reject the deals. As with any case, any criminal case, and I know there are a lot of people here on this chat who've had interactions with the criminal justice system. You understand that when the district attorney makes a plea deal, they make you their first offer. You have some time to think about it. So these defendants in the Robin Brooks murder, they have several weeks to consider it. The earliest the earliest next court date is April 15th. Some are coming at the end of April. So within the next 2 weeks, we will know whether those plea deals were rejected or they were accepted. Back to the article. Meanwhile, federal charges may be pending against the correctional officers because the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of New York is investigating the death, the special prosecutor noted in court. Again, this is something that I said earlier. In every single appearance, in every single defendant, he mentioned that the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District was currently investigating, and that he doesn't speak on behalf of that specific office. Let's move on. Quote, I have spoken to the Assistant United States Attorney who is handling the matter, and this may assist counsel in discussing the resolution of this with his client. They are actively pursuing the matter, said Special Prosecutor William Fitzpatrick. the district attorney of Onondaga County. Continuing, I have suggested to them that the dispositions I have offered would satisfy the case completely. They have not agreed to that, but they did respond in a favorable manner, indicating they would consider it. So, what this paragraph means, what this interpretation of what William Fitzpatrick said, is that he recommended to the federal prosecutors that what he is offering these defendants be enough to satisfy their case, because it doesn't make sense for federal prosecution to occur if these gentlemen will be um, convicted and sentenced, or they accept a plea deal that would have them go behind bars. Okay, continuing on. Correctional officers in court, according to prosecutors, inmate Robert L. Brooks, 43, was beaten multiple times after being transferred to the Marcy Correctional Facility at about 9:30 p.m. December 9th. The third beating in the prison infirmary was captured on the body-worn cameras of several of the correctional officers present. He was clinically dead within half an hour, prosecutors stated, and was pronounced dead at Windhouse Hospital in Utica by 2:30 a.m. December 10th. So a couple of things there that are very important to note was um, when we had these initial indictments and they came in, there was a press conference after the indictments, and William Fitzpatrick had stated that there were three beatings that occurred. What we saw on camera was the third and final beating that ultimately led to the death of Robert Brooks. But he was beaten twice before he was brought into that infirmary. That is something that we have not seen. We haven't seen video on that. Continuing on. The officers charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter are Nicholas Angelone, 44, of Ava; David Kingsley, 24, of Adam; Anthony Farina, 49, of Oneida; Christopher Walrath, 36, of Herkimer County; Matthew Gallagher, 43, of Clark Mills; and Nicholas Kiefer, 33, of Whitesboro. For me, I'll be honest with you, Anthony Farina is probably the most sinister and evil of all of them. When I saw Anthony Farina put his boot on Robert Brooks' genitalia, and when he took a rag and shoved it down Robert Brooks' mouth, that was absolutely despicable. I mean, everything that occurred during that visit, I'm sorry, not during that visit, during that beating was absolutely despicable, deplorable, and let's call it what it is. It's evil. This is evil that we saw on camera that night. So for me, Anthony Farina is the most evil of the bunch. Let's continue on. The following officers are charged with second-degree manslaughter: Michael Mashaw, 47, of Boonville; Michael Fisher, 54, of Utica; and David Walters, 36, of Bonneville. The 10th officer, Nicholas Gentile, 36, of Utica, was charged with tampering with physical evidence. So, as I mentioned before, Nicholas Gentile is one of the newest names that came up. He was charged with tampering with physical evidence, probably cleaning up the crime scene. Angelone, Gentile, and Kiefer will return to court on April 15th. Fisher and Mashaw will return to court on April 16th. Farina, Gallagher, and Kingsley will return to court on April 29th. Walrath and Walters will return to court on April 30th. So mind you, everyone, please keep these dates on your Outlook, on your calendars. Save these dates, because I will be following up with these court dates and bringing this to your attention. According to prosecutors, three other officers involved in the case have already accepted plea deals. So this was something that I mentioned before, is that you have three officers who are involved who already accepted plea deals, most likely so that they can testify if need be later on. Their identities have not yet been released, and they have not yet appeared in court on those deals. Also in court, Judge Robert L. Bauer issued a protective order to protect the identities of all cooperating witnesses. So this actually came up today in a comment on one of my videos about protective orders. Every single defendant in court today was issued a protective order so that they would stay away from the family and stay away from any cooperating witnesses. Here we have the staff writer, Sean Mills. Again, let's give him his props for covering this case. Excuse me. So that's the end of that article. In about a couple minutes, I'm going to present to you another article. But let me jump out of this real quick. Let me remove, bring myself up, and let me jump to a couple of comments and see what people have to say. So, feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think thus far about these plea deals. What do you think about these plea deals? So let's go to Luke's wife. Luke's wife says Messiah's case should be moved to New York City, where he is from. There will be no justice as long as the case is held in the court and tried by this district attorney. I do agree with you. I think that the probability of this case going to New York City is slim to none. But I do believe that just the corruption that's been occurring, the lack of justice, the lack of swift justice, the fact that these defendants got the white glove treatment. They received one of the lowest bails that I've ever heard of in a second-degree murder case. Initially, William Fitzpatrick, threw out $50,000. So very disappointing. John says this is the New York State judicial system. James says murder on tape. Hey, what's the deal? Exactly. What is the deal? The fact that you have this on camera, their bail should have been $1 million bail, $800,000 bail. I mean, people have been held on remand for less than what you saw on tape. James says they act like it's a game show. Let's make a deal. James, again, why can't we see the court recordings? Why can't we see the court recordings? The court recordings are available. They're on YouTube. I am going to play a snippet of it if my technology agrees with me. James says, why can't we hear the offers? This is typical practice. You really don't hear a plea unless it's accepted. So once the plea deal is accepted, it's going to be brought out in open court where it has to be communicated. So from my understanding of the legal system, we do not hear plea deals until they're being offered up in court and everyone has accepted. Luke's wife, and now Farida can push his court date because he's going out of town. He's charged with murder. There should be no option. That's a very good point. I'm actually going to play that clip now, since you brought up Farina. Hopefully, the technology will work with me here. So let me bring this up. I already have it queued up to Farina being in court, and hopefully this is going to work out. Oh, okay. Let me take off this comment. Let me share this. By the way, if you guys don't see or don't hear what I'm playing, just let me know in the chat. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm gonna play this, and again, I hope it agrees with me because typically I tend to record the videos from YouTube and then I play it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this now. Okay, let's do it. So just to set this up, this is Anthony Farina. Anthony Farina is the gentleman who, in the Robert Brooks murder video, he stomped on Robert Brooks' genitalia. He also placed a rag in Robert Brooks' mouth and shoved it down. It was either a rag or a Clorox wipe. There's been different accounts of what exactly was shoved in his mouth. But either way, he shoved something in his mouth to choke him. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. I may stop it to bring out a couple of things.
It's the matter of the people against Anthony Farina, indictment 25035. At the outset, I'll note I have a number of requests from the news media to cover today's proceedings. We have a continuing, no objection, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Is it Riotto, sir?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Riotto, do you have any objection to the media's coverage of today's proceedings?
I don't, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to permit the same, and I will for future appearances as well, unless counsel should voice an objection. And Mr. Riotto, just to be clear, I believe it was Mr. Starzewski that appeared at the arraignment. You, in fact, have been retained to represent Mr. Farina in this matter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. We'd adjourn this matter then to today's date for a pretrial conference. I'm in receipt of a proposed disposition emailed by the prosecution. It appears that went to you as well, Mr. Riotto. Have you received that, sir?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay, so I just want to stop it there real quick. You heard Judge Bauer mention that he is in possession. So the judge is in possession of the proposed disposition, and the disposition is basically what the plea deal, what the sentence would be.
I will then be adjourning the matter for approximately 2 weeks to allow you time to further review the discovery that's been provided and to confer with your client and then report back.
Okay, just something else quickly. So you have the next court date that was announced, and also there's something called discovery. Many of you may know what discovery is. Discovery is when the district attorney hands over all the evidence in their possession so that defense counsel can make an attempt to defend their client. So that's what discovery is.
As to whether he wishes to accept or reject that proposed disposition, I have available April 15th or 16th.
Your Honor, the client is out of the area during that week. Could we do something different day?
And this is what Luke's wife was talking about. Luke's wife was talking about Anthony Farina being able to push this court date out. I mean, is this common? I don't know. Like, are they getting the white glove treatment? Possibly.
April 29th.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then April 29th at 9:30 a.m. to report on the offer. If the matter is not resolved on the 29th, the motion filing date will be set for 2 weeks thereafter. That's May 13th. That's a filing date only. No one need appear. Also, May 27th, then for the people's response, also a filing date with no appearance required. The parties shall appear thereafter on June 3rd for any argument they wish to have and the court's decision with respect to those motions. Now, I also have a pending motion for a protective order. Did you have any opposition to that, counsel?
Your Honor, if people could just clarify exactly what it is they're looking to protect.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. We spoke about the protective order already. So this is what occurred with every single defendant, the notification of a court order being placed against them. So we know that, plea deals were offered. Again, for those of you coming on the chat for the first time, please like the live stream. That would be greatly appreciated. Tickle that like button. Share this with someone else. That'd be greatly appreciated as well. And I'm going to go into a couple comments before we go into the next article that has a different set of information. Oh, we have Iredell saying, yes, sir, very evil. Frederick Dunlap, Kingsley was the worst. Yeah. So, Frederick, if you can do me a favor and just remind me what was Kingsley's role. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank, but if you can put that in the chat and let me know exactly what he did. But I know Kingsley was one of the main four or five aggressors against Robert Brooks. We have Luke's wife, 3 already accepted, these 10, but what about the others? Yeah, there are others. I mean, a lot of people have been asking about, and I'm hoping to be able to report on Patricia Matos, who was the quote unquote the queen of cover-ups at Marcy Correctional Facility, as reported by JB Nicholas. So I would love to hear what's happening with her. I know she's currently still on suspension, and I do believe that the freelance was attempting to be a part of those disciplinary hearings against all the officers involved in the Robert Brooks murder. So there are others that we definitely need to follow up on, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more stories about them, especially Patricia Matos, who I heard would help officers on what to write on their reports. Curtis Thompson. Curtis Thompson says somebody literally told the fact that there were 2 prior beatings that night. Should this go to trial, there's a chance that testimony will fill in the gaps. You know what, Curtis, you bring up a good point in terms of should this go to trial. Now, I have a question for everyone here, right? What do you think is the possibility that a jury would convict these correction officers for murder and manslaughter? What probability do you think that they will be convicted? Is it 100%? Do they have a 50-50 chance? Do they have an 85% chance? As a district attorney, sometimes you don't want to take a chance with juries. If Fitzpatrick is truly looking for a conviction, which I doubt that. That's my personal opinion. I really don't think that Fitzpatrick is about justice. Okay, but think about this. Do you really want this going to trial? That's a question for you guys. Let me know in the chat what you think. KS saying, I am more on the conservative side, but this incident frightened me. Watching the video just sickened me beyond comprehension. Yeah. I think when the video first came out, I watched it, I had to stop, but then I forced myself to watch it multiple times because I just wanted to truly see the evil and the brutality that's not being discussed and not being spoken about in mainstream media. Is disgusting. KS says no one deserved to die in such an inhumane manner, hands down. Gossip Girl BK, if this is your first time coming on to a live, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Gossip Girl BK says, I'm not surprised at all. Frederick Dunlap, these please deals shouldn't be offered when there's video. Good point. Good point. Loca saying at John 100%. James says no body cam, no job. Period. I agree with you 1,000%. The problem is we can spend money so that every correction officer has a body cam. The problem is there are no consequences for when they turn their body cams off. They get away with beatings. They get away with murder. So imagine not having their body cam on. Do you think they're really going to face consequences? There's a major corrupt, decrepit problem with the New York State Department of Corrections, and it needs to be fixed. I don't know how, but they have a serious problem. We have Wayno. There should be no plea deals, but we know how these people love to protect each other. Hopefully the feds shut their ass down. That's very interesting. That's one thing that I have not thought about. What would the federal involvement look like? The federal prosecution? What exactly would they charge these officers with? I'm not sure. Gossip Girl, their behavior was disgusting. Agree. Luke's wife, where is the national coverage and outrage? I agree with you 1,000%. There hasn't been that much national coverage occurring. The outrage is not there. And the primary reason why the outrage is not there is because, and I hate to say this, but as a nation, as a society, we do not care about incarcerated individuals. Once someone is in prison, they're thrown away. They're seen as less than human. They're seen as less than human. So therefore, if someone is less than human, you can do with them as you please. You can beat them, torture them, work them to death, not pay them. So this is why there's no outrage, because the sentiment is that people who are in prison are not human beings, and that's horrible. KS says, why move the case? I have friends who are state and country correction officers. You think they believe this is okay? No way. They are sickened and don't want to be judged based on these uh, Neanderthals. Yeah, possibly are there correction officers out there that don't agree with this? Yes. Are there many people that have spoken out? I haven't heard too many correction officers and their advocates speaking out. You barely get anyone from the correctional community to say what occurred was deplorable, right? And in that respect, it's very superficial. They'll say, "Oh, no one condones what occurred," right? But there's no conversation about what led up to that death occurring, that murder. So we have to have the ability to go deeper, have deeper conversations. It's not, we're just wasting each other's time. Nona E828 says this is disgusting. Agreed. Agree with you 100%. I have to Gossip Girl BK. I have to search for updated details. You have Bridget. Bridget says, with it being all caught on camera, that should be an instant prison sentence. Well, in terms of, I mean, they should have been remanded. I mean, that's one thing I truly believe. They should not have had the bails that they had. And they're all walking away. They're all walking scot-free right now. James says, uh, there should not be protective order for these killers. Hmm. We have Kevin Harrelson. Kevin, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. I wondered how they were going to justify letting them go. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. So, in the interest of time, I'd like to jump ahead to the next article I'm going to share with you here. Oh, and by the way, after I read this article, if anybody wants to come on, have a conversation, I am particularly interested in chatting with people who disagree with me, people who have a difference of opinion. So if you disagree with anything that's come up on this live stream or the coverage, I would love to have a conversation with you. My only rule is when you come up here that you have to show your face, you have to show who you are. No loud music in the background because I don't want any copyright strikes. I'm just a young emerging YouTuber and I don't want to have my channel taken down. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and post the link. If anybody wants to come up and have a conversation with me, by all means, we have some time after I go over the article. So let's jump into this article. Let me share this and pop this up on the screen. Oh, give me one sec. So this article is going to show a different set of details, uh, some new information. Hopefully, we'll read in this article. So give me one second. I'm having a technical problem. So talk amongst yourselves, and I'll wait for this to clear up, and then I'll pull up the article. The article is about 3 minutes long, and then we will take it from there. Okay, give me one sec. Okay, give me one second. Okay. If I have not mentioned this already, please like the live stream. I would greatly appreciate it. all of your help, all of your likes, all of your comments. It really means a lot to me. I really love to read your comments and see and read what you have to say. It's really greatly appreciated. So I immensely appreciate that. So okay, here we go. Here we have the article. This is from the Utica Observer Dispatch. Marcy correction officers stand before a judge for pretrial conference in Brooks case. Story by Casey Pritchard. And I believe I've covered this individual's articles before. Okay, here we go. There was no idle chatter amongst the people in the gallery on Monday. Oh, and by the way, uh, the son of Robert Brooks, he was there. I saw him in the video, and he did not look happy from what I saw. So again, there was no idle chatter amongst the people in the gallery on Monday, just a tension in the air that only became thicker as the corrections officers involved in the death of Robert Brooks was brought out before Judge Bowden. And this was just the pre-trial conference. 5 out of the 10 correction officers had been previously charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. Others had been charged with second-degree manslaughter, and one had been charged with tampering with evidence. All 10 officers pleaded not guilty. As with any criminal court case, the defendant is offered a plea deal before the case goes to trial. The defendant chooses whether or not to take the deal, which usually results in a lesser sentence than the possible sentence if convicted. There's one thing I do want to say very quickly. I am pretty certain that William Fitzpatrick, before he made these plea deals, he consulted with the family of Robert Brooks. I would be shocked if there was no consultation with the Brooks family. But that may not be something that we will find out immediately. Continuing on with the article. The Robert Brooks case is no different. The 10 correction officers received the contents of their plea deal at the pretrial conference and will return to court at a later date and declare whether or not they accept it. A look at plea deals. Onondaga County District Attorney William Fitzpatrick said plea deals are a common practice following Monday morning's proceedings. The American Bar Association, writing in a 2024 article, that nearly 95% of state convictions nationwide result from plea bargains. Fitzpatrick said that he couldn't comment on the nature of the plea bargains, and the contents of plea bargains are rarely, if ever, known. Defendants charges next court dates. The following is a list of the 10 correction officers, their charges, and the dates when they are due back in court. Nicholas Angelone, charged with second-degree murder, first-degree manslaughter, and first-degree offering a false instrument for filing. He's due back April 15th, 9:30 a.m. Nicholas Kiefer, he was charged with second-degree murder, first-degree manslaughter, second-degree gang assault, and first-degree offering a false instrument for filing. He's due back in court April 15th. Nicholas Gentile, he's the individual, the CO charged with tampering with evidence, and he's due back in court April 15th. Michael Fisher, charged with second-degree manslaughter, and he's due back on April 16th. Excuse me. Michael Mashal, charged with second-degree manslaughter, he's due back April 16th. Matthew Gallagher, charged with second-degree murder, first-degree manslaughter, and second-degree gang assault. He's due back on April 29th. Anthony Farina was charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. He's due back in court on April 29th. David Kingsley, charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. He is due back in court on April 29th. Christopher Walrath, charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. He's due back in court on April 30th. And David Walters was charged with second-degree manslaughter. He's due back in court on April 30th. Possible federal involvement. Fitzpatrick did say in court that he had been in contact with the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of New York. They are investigating this matter, he said. I'm not authorized to speak for the U.S. Attorney, but I've spoken to the Assistant U.S. Attorney who is handling the matter, and they are actively pursuing the case. Fitzpatrick would not comment any further after the pretrial. The Observer Dispatch has reached out to the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of New York for comment. So there we have it. There we have it, folks. We've gone over 2 articles. We saw a video of Anthony Farina being, showing up in court. So I'm going to go over a few more comments from the group real quickly. Okay, we have Gossip Girl BK asking, I wonder what their families think of their vile behavior. I wonder what their families think of it as well. I wonder. Okay, I think I might have done these. How can I see the court hearing? You have to just go on YouTube and put in Robert Brooks court cases, and then it will come up. And I will have a link in this description after the live stream ends. I'll post a link so people can access that. Where is Glenn Tromley, Matthew Gallagher, and of course Patricia Luis Matos, RN? Good question. Good question. Where are they? Who knows? Maybe they are the 3 that accepted a plea deal. KS, duty of care, not the duty to execute. Care has many meanings, but to show reasonable care in being a professional CO requires them to keep safe the offenders. Yes, I am with you, Yana. Rightness didn't even have to say why he's out of town. Yep. Loca at Wayno, hopefully, but the prosecutor today said he reached out to the district office for the federal cases in hopes that the plea deals he offered will be looked at favorably by them. We have next comment is Al. What is a protective order as it relates to the case? I think we may have answered that, but Al, just in case you came late, the protective order has to do with the defendants not attempting to interfere by speaking with potential witnesses or the family members of Robert Brooks. It's pretty much a stay away order. Bridget Swanger, if they were regular citizens, they would have already been doing their prison time. Agreed. We have Sharon saying plea deals is outrageous. Kevin Harrelson, usually courts don't allow cameras, so this stays hidden. But to blatantly disregard all decency by showing you how they work is disheartening. It is very disheartening. I recall when the indictments came down and watching the footage that day, I was very disheartened by what I was seeing. I was very disappointed. I was just absolutely disgusting. And I think Elizabeth Miller says the same thing, disgusting. Oh, we have a response from Frederick Dunlap who says Kingsley was the main one applying pressure to Brooks' throat repeatedly. Yeah, so he was the one who grabbed Robert Brooks by the neck, by his throat, and was applying pressure. Absolutely disgusting. All right, so I am going to put the link in one more time. We've been on for about 50 minutes. If anybody wants to have a conversation with me, share any thoughts that you have, I'll be more than happy to have a conversation. I'm very interested in chatting with people who disagree with me. So if you disagree with me, if you think that what we're talking about is wrong, or we're not seeing certain sides, by all means, feel free to come on. I just ask that you have your camera on, you have no music playing in the background, and most importantly, that you show your face. Okay? Okay. TD says we have a pretty big uproar here in Oneida County over this. I would love to hear about what people in Oneida County think about what's occurring and the prosecution. CCHR, have we seen any justice through this entire process? We have not. We have not yet. And, Kevin, we haven't. But also one thing to think about. I have been covering the beating death of Messiah Nantry that occurred at Midstate Correctional Facility. Also, let's not forget about Messiah Nantry. Let's not forget about Christopher Giles. Christopher Giles was beaten the day before Messiah Nantry was executed at Midstate Correctional. We cannot forget about him. We cannot forget about Christopher's aunt, who's been speaking to reporters and trying to get the story out there. So let's not forget the other individuals who haven't died, but they've been beaten and suffered major injuries. So let's not forget about the other individuals as well. And by the way, does anyone know anything about 5 Points facility? I've been hearing chattering about a 5 Points correctional facility. If anyone has any information on that, can you please send me an email? Excuse me. Definitely feel free to send me an email about that. You can reach me at criticalconversationshr@gmail.com. criticalconversationshr@gmail.com. We have somebody in the backstage, to a D's N. I see you in the back, but I don't see your face. So you have to be able to show your camera in order for me to bring you on. Oh, there you go. Okay. Got you. Okay. So everyone, let's welcome this gentleman, and I'm going to bring you up on stage now. Hello, sir. How are you?
How you doing, Critical? Can I call you that, Critical? I'll have to say what's happening,
Sure.
Critical Conversation.
Hey, I'm good.
And
How are you?
good. I'm actually Frederick Dunlap. That's in your
Oh,
chat
Frederick
there.
Dunlap.
Yeah, man. First of all, man, like this from a first time listening to you, man, it sounds pretty cool, man. I just tuning in for the first time, man. Hear what's going on.
Well, thank you. So
So,
tell me
go
your
ahead.
thoughts. What do you think about the whole the Robert Brooks murder, this court case? Do you think that there'll be justice for the family of Robert Brooks, Frederick?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And
Okay.
I believe it'll be 100% justice. Considering, like, it to me it seems like it's a way of life with these corrections officers up there in upstate New York, man. I mean, there's a number of facilities where this stuff is going on, man. So I believe they make an example out of somebody, and just do the right thing, you know. And then not only that, but I've been watching the protests with the corrections officers not wanting to go to work. However, I think the fact that they don't want to go back to work because they have to wear body cameras. They don't want these new rules, man. And so I just think they're staying away from that, wanting to wear body cameras so they can do what they do, which seems like what's going on upstate New York, man, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, and for me, I think the thing that was very troubling was that, most of these officers had body cams on, but they were off. And four of the cameras were on standby mode. So they thought, their cameras were not on recording.
Right.
So
Well,
it's troubling that we go ahead, sir.
you you know, did they ever say whose body camera it was that was left running?
Yes, it was you know what? My memory is slipping me, but we do have the names of the officers whose body cameras that recorded.
Hmm.
I just don't recall offhand, to be honest with you.
Because I kind of gave that a thought, man. I kind of think about things, think them through, and for some reason, something was telling me that that guy that left that camera on, man, like it's his way. What was his way of saying, like, this stuff ain't right. This shouldn't be going on because I just kind of find it hard to believe that one guy's camera is on, man. You know what I'm saying, man? So I'm thinking that guy had a heart and like, look, man, I want to see a stop to this stuff that's going on here, man. And I don't know, man. That's just how I'm thinking about it, man.
Yeah, listen. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
We do know that that lifestyle. I mean, being a correctional officer, I think, would be very difficult. And we hear about the higher rates of suicide, the alcoholism,
Mhm.
the domestic violence that comes from these correction officers to their wives. So, listen, it's possible that that they knew that this was recording and
Mhm.
they wanted a way out, sort of like sabotaging themselves to be out of that
Oh, okay.
life.
I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds before I get off of here. But like the um the thing with the plea deals, I think these prosecutors offering these plea deals. So I think they want to go after bigger fish. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to just ask insurmountable questions. You know what I mean? Just questions is way off the root. Because if these guys lie during a plea deal, we know all deals are taken off the table. So I
Yeah,
think prosecutors, man, like may ask them, like, were you guys good with this? And like, did your supervisors know what was going on? Because uh, they do have wardens in prison, don't they?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this thing can go as like as how's a warden not know anything? You know what I mean? I don't get that. Maybe they want to come after him or something like that, but that's just the way I think, man. And
Yeah,
thanks for
I
having
hear
thanks for
you,
having me on, thanks for having me on the show, man. I enjoyed it.
sir. It's really a pleasure having you on. I appreciate you watching for the first time, and
Mhm.
uh, and and definitely stay tuned. Stay
Yeah,
tuned.
I
All
will.
right,
I will. Thank you very much.
all right, Frederick. Take care. Okay, that was Frederick. Frederick Dunlap. A big thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you. Thank you immensely. And it's 10:39. If anybody else wants to come on, I'll give this another 10 seconds before I shut down shop. So I want to thank everyone for coming on, being a part of the live stream, commenting and liking the stream and the videos. It really means a lot again. So I am going to continue to cover this case April 15th, April 16th. I will be following up and letting you know if we learn about what these plea deals are. Okay. So for everyone on right now, I want to say thank you. If you've appreciated the content, please like the video, comment, which a lot of you have. Thank you for the comments. Really appreciate it. Share the video. Spread the word because YouTube is not very favorable to this kind of content. So so the growth of the channel is happening very organically. Very grassroots. So I want to thank everyone who shares my videos and spreads the word. So everyone, take care. Be safe. God bless. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.